Okay, I've got the front end on, and that's going okay, but I remember this front end is not a Postie front end. See the two bolts for the disc hanger down there? This is off a CG125, which is an older, apparently they come to Australia, but I think it was back in the 70s and 80s. They're just a conventional motorbike with a Honda, more vertical motor, but a small, Honda 125. So that would be probably drum brake when they come to Australia, but the later versions have disc on them, and that is a Chinese copy of the front end. What I've done is make it fit the Honda, and it does fit, but it's conventional forks, and there's not a spring inside there like the Honda. It's just a conventional fork. So that has caused me a few little problems, because it means this doesn't want to actually sit there. I tried double-sided tape, but it didn't, that little chrome thing, which is all important to make it look Honda-ish. So I had to put a little screw in the corners in there, just a little 2mm screw, just to hold that up. Now another little thing that, no big deal, but the whole bike's been penetroled to give it that gloss, but except for that, this area here, that, and that is the original patina of the bike. It's fat on there because I've sprayed it with lanolin to protect it, but if I ever wanted to get it off, the lanolin just washes off. The penetrol doesn't wash off. So that's that. Now moving around to the handlebars, just starting to get that fitted up. Remember from a previous video, this is a handlebars, a bit of a hodgepodge. I think that's a CT110, I think that's a CT90. But I had to get a 6-volt system working with 12 volts, etc., etc. So, and I only had bits and pieces, and not all off the same bikes. Anyway, so I have that. But the CG125 came with this, and there's the caliper. Caliper's silver, happy with that. But I'm not happy with the black brake lever there. I don't think it looks right. Remember, the standard brake would be here, and I ground that off, and because it was broken, I ground that off, lost the indicator mount, the mirror mount in the process, and that brake lever and all that, but at least that allows this now to fit. And there's my new post for the thing. That comes in like that, fits nicely, but it's the wrong colour, so I'm going to have to get that colour off there. There's also no brake fluid in it, so I can pump away as much as I want. It does nothing down there. Just so you can see it, that is, I've got a plate in there. There's a couple of pads, double thing, nothing. Being Chinese, who knows what the quality is like. Let's hope it works out okay. Anyway, I'll take that off and I'll show you what I do to get the paint off that. How I paint stripper parts is I just use any old paint stripper and just get the parts, put them in a bag, and tons of paint stripper on there. I clogged up where the plunger is, so just to stop any getting in there, and there's the other parts to it. Once you got it in the bag, like, it stays moist, it doesn't dry out, so just, now I'm going to give it a little bit of a rub, and you can see it just comes off. There's a sweat in there, and if you don't do it, you don't sweat it like this, it sort of dries out and doesn't work nicely. This way you can just walk away, have a cup of tea, come back, give another little rub. You don't have to worry about tying so much. Anyway, that's how I do it. Well, I had a cup of tea, now I'm back and I'm giving it a bit of a rub. You can see it's starting to, you can see the parts in there, it's starting to lose their paint. Now I'll take it to the wash-up pro shortly, and just with a little metal brush and some gloves and just rub off the rest of it. But it's getting there. The final look after a brush off. It's fine. This is completely cleaned up. Now this still has a few bits and pieces on there. Could do with the second one, the harder to get to places, just put another slap on there, but I'm going to leave it. It gives it an aged look, and that won't hurt it. So that's how I clean them up. I was just taking the banjo bolt off the master cylinder here so I could feed it through that eyelet that goes onto the frame, and I noticed that the washer here that's supposed to, you know, like be white metal or copper or something is actually rusted. And then on closer inspection, what they've got is steel washers with a little bit of celastic on there, you know, a little bit of, which is not particularly good condition. And another reason why I was pulling it apart, I was just looking in there, and that looks like there's stuff in there. Yeah, so I'm going to have to pull the whole thing apart and wash it inside, as well as hope it all works. Look, I'm just pulling these calipers apart, and the screws in here that hold the pads in up there, they looked okay. This looks normal. Pads, yeah, sintered maybe, by the looks of the metal in there, which is nice, make them bite a bit better. But this is supposed to be free floating, and that's a different interpretation of free floating. Look at that, it's rough. It's not. What it is, I have to pull it apart, find the problem and fix it. It's not free floating. What the problem was, that the pins that from the hanger onto the disc, the pins that go into there, one top, one bottom, had grease in there, but not enough. And I had some grease left over from last time I changed some disc pads, so now it's free floating. I just put a bit more grease in there and now it works. So that's okay now.